What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, Manu, for coming through and boosting up the coin. No doubt about that one, people. Stop it. So, like I said, we got some truly trifling news right now concerning Maximus Danelius Dubois. His sister has done a tell-all page 3 expose of her dad and Danny D. Here we go. Here's the bars. I was playing for you, man. Put you, man, on quick. You ain't heard this before. No one heard this before. This is to the YB. You best believe it.
Yeah, just moving on to a little bit of a sensitive topic here, Caroline. So if at any point you feel like you don't want to answer anything, then feel free not to. But there was a split in the gym that happened. Well, Daniel's father, Stan, obviously your father, had the opportunity to say his say, and was the right reply here, but it led to Stan and Daniel leaving the gym here and you staying with Shane. Just from your point of view, from kind of what happened, what would you like to say about it? And having seen the interview, what was your reaction to the interview?
I mean, I first saw the interview on the fight week of Daniel's fight. I kept getting tagged into it. I remember watching a video of someone just speaking about the fight, and they were like, "Oh, why Caroline and her dad not speaking?" And I was like, because my dad doesn't agree with female boxing and stuff like that. And then I watched the interview, the 9-minute video, and he was obviously saying that, he didn't agree with female boxing and that he saw a change in me, blah, blah, blah. And I just think that's absolute BS, that's trash, that's a complete lie. And I think, I started boxing when I was 9 years old. I'm 23 years old now. So that's over 10 years that I've been boxing. And in all the years coming through, there was never any, I don't really know how I feel about female boxing. If you look at the past and how things were, I asked any of my old coaches, Lenny Haglin at the Islington, Del Youth, Gary McGuinness, my dad was there. He was there. He was ranting and raving. One of my biggest, flag bearers, I really support this girl. I really want to see her do well, blah, 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 blah. And, there was never any dislike to the fact that I was a female boxer. When I went to the all-female show, the O2, I think over 2 years ago, where Kirsty Shields fought Savannah Marshall, I was third on from the last fight, and, I thought the fight ended early. I got showered, I got dressed. I came back out to leave because usually when we go to fights, my dad leaves quite quickly. He just fights and goes, and that's his kind of motto, like I'm in and I'm out. But he stood and watched the whole show, so there was never any problem with female boxing.
Okay.
What about Fury Usyk?
Is that it? Listen, that ain't even the bit. Let me read the quotes, because I must have missed. I read things that weren't in that bit there. Let's get to the part I read. Here we go. If you look at the past and how things were, ask any of my old coaches. My dad was there. He was there ranting and raving. Okay, we heard that part. I really support this girl. Okay, that's not the problem. I think I would rather he just be honest about it and just say, I don't like her or whatever. Here we go. I think my dad wants me to act a certain way, be a certain way. I was 9 years old when I started boxing. He says that I've changed. The only reason I started boxing was because I took my life into my own hands and decided I wanted more for myself. I truly wanted more for myself. She goes on, my dad's got 11 kids in total. With my mum, he's got 7, and I'm the middle child. One thing about the middle child is that sometimes they get overlooked and they don't get the attention that they need, and they have to fight for it. My dad was only paying attention to the boxers and to the boys. He didn't really focus about the girls. By his own admission, he didn't pay attention to my sisters. And so I guess as a young kid, you see that and you think, okay, what can I do? And I said I want to box. I pestered him, and he saw she truly has got the fire in her. That's different from my brothers. My dad put Daniel into boxing, but with me I asked for it. I was gagging to get into the fade. I guess what it was is he just wanted me to stay a certain way. A side chick, essentially. Yeah, a Jet Li Unleashed type cat. But I was 9 years old and I'm growing. I went to school. My brothers didn't go to school. Wow, throwing the shade. I was on the GB team. I went to the Olympics because I was a good amateur. I used to travel a lot. Blah, 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 blah. I travelled everywhere, and I think that helped open up my mind, helped change me, change my perspective. I saw how other people treated their children, and my mind opened up. I saw what was acceptable and what I wanted to accept. My boundaries got bigger. See, there's people, listen, let me tell you something now. Back in, what do you call it? People. Yeah? 100%. Don't want to say too much, man, but I'll say one word. Kitchen. Now I'm only messing with it. And I remember coming to a conclusion for myself. Who am I boxing for? When I suffered my first amateur defeat, I went 60 fights, never lost. I lost for the first time, and it was the most heartbreaking moment. I remember crying for days. I wasn't experienced, and I wasn't getting the support. One thing that my dad did was be honest about is that he stopped supporting me when I was 16 years old. With boxing, he just stopped looking after me and stopped supporting me and stopped pushing me because he didn't like the way that I was changing. As he says, I was becoming more independent and I wanted more for myself, and I was just like, what am I doing this for? It was like a penny drop moment. See, I'll stop here just quickly. Danny D does it for his daddy, for sure. Yeah, that's what she's implying here. She's doing it for herself and she don't want to be controlled. She's a Beyonce, single lady, independent type shtick. I mean, they're all adults, aren't they? End of the day. And they're all adults. She made it to 20 years old, so fair play to her. I was like, I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this ish for myself. I'm not dying, making weight, sweating out, not eating for days, losing my period. I'm doing this. I'm not doing this for some other guy who couldn't care less. Again, that's the shade. She's saying, oh, Danny D, you cucked. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my future. I took that decision and it started to get very toxic and very bad in the household. He kept saying, why can't you be more like Daniel? Bosh! You need to be like him. I can't be like him and I wouldn't want to be like him. And that's not disrespect, but we're different people. It was a decision that I had to make. I spoke to my brothers and my sisters about it. I was like, okay, I'm leaving home, I'm moving out. And they were like, okay, I want to come with you. My younger brother and sister, they both moved out with me, so we left home and that's what happened. My dad now saying that he saw the change in me. He says he never liked female boxing. That's absolute BS, and I wanted to call that out. So, I mean, the account she's given me, I believe it, if I'm honest. I don't think someone's going to lie about that, and it doesn't make sense either. Yeah, for Daniel Dubois' dad to say, oh, I don't like female boxing, you would have known that at 9 years old. No one could have forced you to put your daughter into that sport. Bottom line, right? So, something's clearly happened. Daniel Dubois' dad clearly likes... to be honest, most old heads, they like things done their way. Even new heads, right? Especially with anyone in a power position. Managers, more time, want things done their way, right? You might get some liberal hippies who are like, yeah, man, what's that word? Delegation. You handle it, you've got it, bosh. But most people, they want it done their way. Doesn't make Daniel Dubois' dad the worst man on earth. Is he a bit controlling? Is he a bit too involved? Possibly. But the flip side is, look at a lot of the Hollywood cats, a lot of the boxers who don't have no strong family unit. Listen, gun to my head, do I think Daniel... I don't know him from Adam, but if I was to bet, if someone put a gun to my head and said, YB, do you think Daniel Dubois' dad is probably a bit overreaching? I'd run with that. Yeah, he probably is. But it's a fine line. Look at all the boxers whose parents are loose as a goose, and what they end up doing, blowing their money or acting buck wild. One thing we can guarantee, unlike Ricky Hatton, I'm confident to say now, you'll never see Danny D posted up in some hotel room hitting 2-2 Kinahan, right? So I'll take Daddy over the messiness that often hits a lot of top boxers, or lack of discipline. You know Danny D, yeah, he ain't gonna be wilding out, I don't believe. His dad gonna have him in check. And that's what you need for this game. You need to be in check. You need to be in pocket. Now, women's boxing's weak. I hate to break it to people. Women's boxing is weak. So I think Caroline Dubois will punch up. I think she's got too much power. I think she got too much power for Katie Taylor. I think she would go all the way, to be quite frank. And women don't have the same the lures that men do. a top women's boxer, they're not going to have tens of millions, number one. Number two, men are different to women, right? She ain't going to be caning in the coca. She ain't going to be caning the Kinahan. She ain't going to be caning the drink, most likely. I can't think of one female boxer. Not that there's been loads, but Katie Taylor went off la coca. You don't see Katie Taylor hanging with Dan the Man Kinahan, as such. A packet of Dan Kinahan. Who here has seen Katie Taylor hanging with two packet of Dan Kinahan the man? I haven't seen it. So it's am I saying every boxer's on the coca? Maybe not, but it's more likely to be. So, listen, fair play to her. We already knew what the whisper was. It's not rocket science. This isn't the first time in history either that there's an I'd call him probably. Is he overbearing though? End of the day, he got the results, man. Yeah. Categorically, Daniel Dubois' dad was less involved until the Usyk loss. Fact. Daniel Dubois' dad's been involved to a higher extent. Fact. And Daniel Dubois' results have improved. So who cares? I don't care. Yeah. If Daniel Dubois needs to be on a leash like the Jet Li movie, and Daddy needs to let him off the leash and he goes buck wild and brings me money in, brings me gambling profits in, then so be it. Yeah? Do you understand, people? When Danny D's dad, I did a video on it the other day, he said, go finish that guy. And Dan went, I need that. That's what my coins need. I need someone who can... People say Daniel Dubois is simple. Call it what you want. He devastating. Yeah, totally ferocious in the ring and out. I reckon the kind of vibe I get from Daniel Dubois' dad, or Daniel Dubois and his dad, is similar to Mike Tyson and Customato. If Cus told Mike to go in there and get it and chew his head off, Mike could have been in there like you wouldn't believe. He'd have been in there like you wouldn't believe, and that's what I'm paying for. Essentially, right? In theory, I'll be paying for that. I ain't paying for shit. I'm not paying for shit, but in theory, I can buy into that. Yeah, I can back my gambling coins on that. So often, everyone's got an opinion. Oh, he's too hard. Oh, he doesn't care enough. Oh, he's too controlling. Oh, he's not controlling enough. It's a very parenting and life in general is a very fine line. What might work for one person doesn't work for another. And it clearly wasn't working for her, and it clearly wasn't working for a few other of his kids. And I get it. The problem is, with children is, when you've got the heavyweight champ of the world, and essentially at this point in time, the most devastating heavyweight around right now is Maximus Dan Elias Dubois. And the rest of your kids, what are they doing? Of course, they say you love all your kids equally, and you probably do. Love isn't the same as, bash, this guy on and popping. Yeah, have to be blind and retarded, not for that to take some of your. You got one son who's tearing up the heavyweight world in devastating fashion, and the rest of your kids, I don't know, they might be nurses or working doing something else, even if they're boxers, but they're in the amateurs. You're thinking, okay, I've got that one, and we know this even with people like Customato. Teddy Atlas said when Cus got in the mix with Mike, he didn't care about nothing else that was going on. At all. All his focus, it's glory and success is blinding. Unless your name is Mahatma Gandhi. And you're just like, oh, I'm a hippie and it doesn't matter what any of my kids are doing, I just want to be hippie for them all. Of course it's not nice though. If you're a girl growing up and you feel like your dad's more interested in the boys, I mean, ultimately, he shouldn't have had 11 kids. I think that's a bad look, if I'm honest. You can never split yourself 11 ways. Do you know what I'm saying? So that is a bit, I don't know what he was on. He might be one of them religious cats, though, who don't wrap up. That's probably what it was. I don't think no one plans to have 11 kids running around the place. I wouldn't have thought. Maybe some people do, but strategically, there's not enough hours in the day to have enough time for 11 kids. Someone's going to be butthurt. Yeah? So what, 2 or 3 kids, 3 out of 11 have left the home. That means 8 out of 11 think it's alright, but that's how it will go. Statistically, there's going to be a percentage, 20-30%. For example, when I think about my own family, my nan had 3 kids, and one of the kids is always butthurt about something. So you've got 30% of the kids are butthurt, And that's how it worked out. 1 in 3 kids are going to be butthurt. I didn't have enough of this. I didn't have enough of that. It can come down to genetics and their environment, obviously. Anyway, some people have said, well, you shouldn't air dirty laundry. I think you should, if I'm honest. You should air dirty laundry. If in doubt, share it. A problem shared is a problem halved. And it gives us more insight. The family cuckolds would say, oh, don't share things, keep it in the house. Why though? It just leads to speculation. We know the deal. She's fell out of it. She didn't like the fact that daddy was too overbearing. Fair play to her. This is good for Daniel Dubois though. Yeah, I don't want someone thinking too much, if I'm honest. Because the ones who think too much, when the shots start flying, they out of there. Oh, my health. You start hearing them bars. For people who think too much, oh, my health, and oh, my name's Tony Baloo, and I want to get home to a wife and kids. All that corny shit starts coming out. You're in a fight. No one asked you to fight, Tony. Yeah? If you don't want to fight, if you're worried about your wife and kids, retire. Sit down somewhere and get a normal job. So I don't like the whole, this is the most dangerous sport. It may well be. But there's dudes working in a mine, yeah? More dangerous. People actually die in mines. Boxing, nobody dies like that, right? There's people doing everyday jobs that are higher risk than boxing. They ain't whining and talking and trying to be like my wife and kids and my health. They crack on and go and get it how they living. That's how boxers should be. Get it how you live and not sit down and get a 9 to 5. Oops. Do you understand, people? That's the bottom line here. But Daniel Dubois, he is a single-celled amoeba. Yeah? No, he's not. I don't think he's... People say he's slow. He's not slow. He's just on it. Yeah, he's leashed. And he's ready to set on any of these corny-ass dudes. Yeah, if you pull up on Danny D and your body's soft, like Alexander Usyk, he fixing to touch that shit. Bash! He folds it over for 5 minutes. Yeah, that's what Danny D on. Yeah, you only got to look at Danny D the wrong way, or you only got to look at Papa Danny D the wrong way, and he's going to set him on your ass. It's going to be a wrap for you. That's what you best believe. Who going to stop Danny D now? What, Zhang missed the 4 rounds of cardio? Stop. What, Bakoli, life and death with Yoka? Stop. People, what do you think Danny D does with Yoka? He pumped straight through him in 4 or 5 rounds tops. Wouldn't be going 12 rounds of life and death points decision. You bugging. So forget about Bakoli, forget about Zhang. Fury, don't even start with Fury, does not want that one. Not Danny D, he does not want. What's he gonna do? What, jippo around and fanny about? Danny D will be straight on him like he robs. Fury's the easiest fight of them all. His defense is leaky, and his chin's shot, his legs get tired after a few rounds, and he can't punch, and he pulls back. So Fury's the easiest of them all, and he's a big old oaf as well. Loads of body to touch. A big bowl head. Come on now, people. Get serious with this one. But yeah, more power to Caroline Dubois. I think she's the real deal. And I hope she finds solace and happiness in however she intends on defining that. You don't need a daddy, really, if you're paid. Daddies, more time, people, realistically. Once you get to be an adult, daddies are good for the coins, man, realistically. What else are they good for? Let's break it down now. What you want to talk? Me? Women like to talk, man. Me and my dad don't even talk about nothing, man. I need some coins. You see that one there? Realistically, we can all go around there for Christmas and chop it up, but ultimately, man, I need some coin. Yeah, so I don't know. You could argue, well, YB, you've had supportive parents, so you wouldn't know what it's like having the lack in there. Man, I need some money. Yeah? That's what I actually need, though. Do you understand that, people? Because if I'm paid, then it is what it is. You understand, people? If I'm paid, what's all the talking for anyway? What's all the talking for? Where's it leading to? Oops. So she can be paid. She can be okay, and she can buy a daddy. With all due respect, she can. I don't know. She can go and find some old white man in Brazil, one of them 60-year-old cats to put her on. A lot of melanated females are into that one there, you know. They're kind of like the sugar daddy / oh, my daddy wasn't there type vibe, and they get the old white man from Brazil. They on that for real. I'm not even capping to you, man. So she'll be in a few years. You'll see her with some 50-year-old white Donny. That's what I believe you'll see in the cut. Look at all of them. Yeah, Candace Owens, all them chicks there. So we got the old white man. Yeah, nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that's the play here. Yeah, oh, my daddy wasn't there, so Massa will save me. That's the thinking it's been in code people. They need Massa to support them. You best believe it, psychologically. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. People, smash the like button, subscribe, like off. Oh, that's another one as well. Serena Williams and them ones. Yeah, Venus, Serena, one of them two. You best believe it. Anyway, smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this one, people. Stop it.